So apparently I deleted some footage while I was clearing out my phone for wedding prep. Hi, this is definitely not footage I am recording after I've already read everything. I'm still working on getting through my reading goal, getting caught up to my reading goal, but I have a little bit of a hitch in the road this time. I have to leave, or bless you, I have to leave for a wedding at the end of the month, and I don't know if I'm really gonna get anything read. Spoiler alert, I did get a little bit read, so there's that. But I was aiming to get like a shorter amount of books done for that specific like span of time. And the idea I went with was to finish the 2 books from my spooky TBR jar thing, which was My Soul to Keep by Tananarive Due and Shady Hollow by Juneau Black. My Soul to Keep, and then I have Shady Hollow digitally. Those were the starting point. And then I decided I was going to read some library books. So I ended up wanting to read Kill Creatures. And I got through this like really fast, as you'll see in a second. So I also ended up picking up The Regrets. And then following that, I also decided I was going to read Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch, which was one of my Buzzwordathon picks, along with Never Fall Down by Patricia McCormick. Sorry, I'm very tired. It's been a month and we're like 6 days into it. And then I also wanted to read one of my TBR shelf books, and I decided to go with that by picking from my gumball machine of books, which I don't have the footage of, but I ended up getting Blood on Her Tongue by Johanna Van Veen, which has the really cool sprayed edges, and it's just a gorgeous looking book. But that was the game plan. I'm really sad I lost that footage because I had the drawing of it in there. I'm probably going to do this regularly for future videos so I can help get through all of this mess. Fingers crossed that I don't delete footage again. So this is the general idea I'm going for, along with one digital book, Shady Hollow. So we'll see what happens. I already know what happens, but you'll see what happens. Okay, so I actually did end up starting Kill Creatures as an audiobook while I was packing. From what I understand so far, we are opening up at a funeral for a group of girls that disappeared, I think, on a boat. They disappeared somehow. And we're opening up on the funeral with the only girl who survived, and her name is Nan. And while they're having the funeral, something shows up in the ocean. Come to find out, it's one of the girls. She's alive, and Nan is freaking out because she's the one who killed all the girls. So I don't know where this is gonna go, but okay. No. The best parts of this are the cover and the anti-AI thingy at the end of the audiobook. I did switch to the audiobook for the last couple chapters because I was just 1 star. I didn't like this at all. I really didn't like it. I like Rory Power's writing style. I don't like their storytelling. I don't like their characters. I didn't like the plot. I didn't like the plot twist. But since I got through that so fast, I was going to do either A Touch of Jen or But Not Too Bold. But there's no digital copies for these. So I'm going to go with The Regrets by Amy Bonnaffons. The Regrets. The only thing I know about this is there's a ghost in the person and they're in a relationship or something. It's a love story, I guess. I don't know. Pardon the haunted ass lighting, but my friend's getting married in a couple of days. But instead of waiting to get home, I decided I'll just do a quick update at 1 in the morning. It's fine. I started reading The Regrets in public, mind you. I'm like on chapter 3 at this point. There's not very many chapters. They're very long chapters and there's not many of them. What am I reading? What is this? When they said it was like a ghost in a human relationship, I should have known, like, from right off the bat when they talked about the angel doing something. It should have clicked in my head that maybe this is different than what I'm expecting, because my God, there are certain things cropping up that, what am I reading? I don't really want to DNF it because I kind of want to see how far it goes, but what the fuck am I reading? Okay, not home yet, but I'm about 50% of the way into The Regrets, and it's not bad. I just don't know how to feel about it. I'd say I'm not really clicking with the writing style or the content, but I also don't want to stop reading it because I kind of want to see what's going to happen. I don't know if I said that before, but like I just kind of want to see where it's going to go, even if I'm probably not going to like where it's going to go. I also finished Shady Hollow, which was like a 3-star. It was okay. I enjoyed the setting of the woodland creatures. Why did I say that so weird? Woodland creatures. Learning about like how their species affects the way they live their life in Shady Hollow. But the mystery just kind of felt confusing, I guess is the word. It kind of felt, it's probably not great that I'm reading Agatha Christie at the same time, because Agatha Christie's mysteries are like, I'm in the middle of her, not discography, I'm in the middle of her
catalog, and you can tell Agatha Christie's like got this down, whereas the Shady Hollow felt a little disjointed, I guess is the right way of putting it. I'm going to continue on with the series because I want to see where it goes and what other woodland creatures we meet, but for the first one's kind of like a 3. I'd say it's a solid 3. I'm still working on My Soul to Keep. Not a huge fan of it. I'm gonna be totally honest. I like Tananarive Due's writing, but I don't like the main character at all. At all. I can't find anything redeeming about him. I don't like a certain thing he did that was a spoiler for the story, even though I think I'm only like 30% of the way in. Kind of afraid what else he's going to do, which maybe is the point, but I thought this was more on like the romance side. If this is the romance, I might be back home by the time you see me again, but we'll see what happens.
I'm home, I'm tired, and I'm giving the regrets 1 star. When they said there would be regrets, I didn't know they meant me. I had moments where I was like, okay, maybe this isn't so bad. It's like a 2 star. And then we got to the end and I'm like, why are we here? They were perspectives I don't think needed to be had. I'm confused about who the main character is. I thought it was Thomas. Apparently maybe it's Rachel. Because there were more, well no, I guess there weren't more chapters about Rachel than there were Thomas, but it was different perspectives with other perspectives like slotted into it. And then they did some things. While Thomas the ghost was actively disappearing. I don't even know what to say about it. 1 star. Also, I left the book in the car, but I'm DNFing My Soul to Take by Tananarive Due at like 53%, I guess. It's not for me. I hate the main character, David. I got to a certain point. Cool, it takes place in Florida, but like, I don't like it. I'm going to continue going through Tananarive Due's like catalog and probably read everything else and see how I feel about it, because the Reformatory was like life-changing for me. It was so good. It like rewired my brain on how I look at certain books. But My Soul to Take is My Soul to Keep? My Soul to Keep is not one of them. Sorry, there's a sequel that's called My Soul to Take, I think. And I'm just getting confused, but yeah. That one's not for me. I'm gonna try another one. I haven't started Love and Gelato yet, or the other one I have to read for this month, but I have started Blood on Her Tongue, which is going much better. I think 19th century weirdness is my niche, because so far, like, I loved the companions. Maybe I'm thinking it might have been a 5 star. Like, rethinking it, that probably was closer to a 5 star than when I rated it. And I'm really liking Blood on Her Tongue. Like, the atmosphere, the verbiage, the strange things happening. I didn't know this was a vampire book. You know how I like to go into things blind? Didn't realize this was a vampire book. I know it was like a gothic, freaky, some kind of book. Does it say vampires? I didn't read the back. I don't know why I'm asking if it says vampires. I don't know, but I keep, like, at the end of the certain chapters, I keep hitting, like, last night I was so tired, and I got to the end of the chapter, and it's like, how did you figure it out? Is that a spoiler? I'm gonna say it anyway. And I'm like, shit, I have to go to sleep. So far, this is going great. Will it be a 5 star? Still not sure about that. I'm really picky with my 5 stars. Like, they gotta be, I'm halfway through, so we'll see. I'll also get started on Love and Gelato today. I'm probably not going to start the other one. I can't think of what it's called. Never Take Me Down, Never Something Down, Never Let Me Down, until last. All right, so I finished Blood on Her Tongue, and I decided to give it like a 3.5. I'd say part 1 was 4. Thanks, Harley. I'd say part 1 was 4.5 stars because it was a very strong opening and I really enjoyed myself. Part 2, 4, maybe also a 4.5. I was really intrigued by part 2 also, but part 3 is where it all just started going downhill for me. I will be keeping this, even though it's not like a super high rating, and I don't know if I plan on rereading it. I'm not sure. I might reread it one day to like see how I feel about it, but I love this cover far too much to get rid of it, and also yeah, so this is one of the few books that I will be keeping that aren't like a solid 5 star, 4.5, blew my mind kind of book. I've also started Love and Gelato. I'm about 50 pages into this, I think. 50? Yeah, 46 pages. I didn't realize this was such a big book. This is almost a 400-page book. And I'm 8 books behind on my reading goal at the moment, so that was an oops. But I am enjoying it more than, what was the other one I read? Spells for Lost Things? That could change because, again, I'm only 50 pages, not even 50 pages into it. But at the moment, we're following our main character, Lena, who has just moved to Italy to live with her dad that I guess she didn't know was her father until her mother died of cancer, and now she's over spending her time with him. And all I've read so far is her mother passed, she's arrived, she's encountering some tourists or something. Her father lives in a graveyard or cemetery. I think is he a cemetery keeper? Something along those lines. We haven't encountered like a love interest yet, but I'm sure it'll pop up at some point. And that's typically where things start to go downhill for me if they're going to go downhill, so we'll see what happens there. I've also barely scratched the surface on Never Fall Down. Sorry, I couldn't get the title right before. I'm only not even very far into Never Fall Down. Literally 5%. I'm 5% of the way into Never Fall Down, and I know some things about the killing fields, but not a lot, other than the fact it was like a mass genocide of the Cambodian government against Cambodians, among other people. I think like what did it say? It said at the start, I think like 2 million people died, and that was like a fourth of the population. So that's wild, but I'm like barely into it so far. It's written interestingly. Like this is about a child who is living through the war under the, how do you pronounce it? Khmer Rouge? Khmer Rouge. I don't know if I've ever heard that said out loud before. I probably haven't. I just don't remember how to say it. And at the moment, he's poor and selling things in order to like get money to help support his family. But he's literally a child. And from what I understand is this is going to be him getting captured and then having to work as a child soldier for the regime, I think is the proper word, which is not a fun time. This is gonna hurt, which I mean, I knew it was going to hurt, but like, oof, these two are weird to read together. This was an interesting decision on my part, which was less of a decision and more just kind of how it happened. But yeah, I'll probably check in when I finish both of these and do my wrap up. Correction, it's a memorial for like lost American soldiers. So cemetery, but like a memorial. Okay, I'm cold. We're having a little bit of an Arctic blast down here. But I finished Love and Gelato and Never Fall Down. Love and Gelato got a 2 from me. I really enjoy the way Jenna Welch writes, but there was a cheating subplot of a kind that I don't like cheating subplots of like any kind. I don't want to like further explain this because that is a spoiler for very far back in the book, but if it hadn't been for that, I think this would have been closer to like a 3.5. I do enjoy the way Welch writes. Really didn't like that plot point though. Something that did confuse me a little bit though was throughout this entire book, Lena is trying to like figure out her family ties, and she keeps going, well, I look Italian, and she keeps going, well, my father doesn't look Italian, but I look Italian. Where did those genes come from? A lot of people are explaining like she looks like her mother, who apparently is not Italian. That was a little confusing. But also, like, Italians come in a lot of different shapes and sizes, so that did confuse me a little bit, because Northern Italians can be, like, blonde-haired and blue-eyed. For all you know, Howard could be Italian, too. I'm not entirely sure where I put my reader, but I also finished Never Fall Down, and that hurt, like, a lot. Like, that was very painful to read. I do wish the author's note at the end was kind of like, well, parts of it I wish were put at the start so you could like better understand the way some of it was written, because by the end I was like, oh, that makes more sense why you did that. I did enjoy it. It was just very difficult to read, and I didn't give it a full 5 because there were some issues I had with the way certain things were structured, and I think maybe if this had been, rather than from a journalist perspective, which is Patricia, not perspective, but like Patricia McCormick is a journalist who takes stories and writes novels out of them, and the person in this novel, Arn, is a real person and he is a survivor of the Khmer Rouge. I think if this had been more like, maybe not co-authored, but I don't know how to explain how it just felt too much like a string of narrative to have been written by somebody who writes books. Does that make sense? I think it could have been restructured a little bit differently, because there were some like thoughts slotted in there that I didn't really like, never like circle back and explain themselves, which I guess is more true to real life. I don't know. It feels like a 4 in my heart. Maybe a 4.5. Definitely gonna read something else from Patricia McCormick though. I've been wanting to read Sold for like a decade now. But wrap up. We have a DNF at 53%, a 3-star, a 4-star, a 2-star, a 1-star, a 3.5 star, and another 1-star. I'm okay with that. I don't think I will ever have a full like 5-star, 4-star reading vlog. I'm just not that kind of person. I like reading too much to give up. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.